This car here, it's a stylish Grand Tourer inspired sedan. The GT version features a 365 horsepower twin turbocharged V6 engine that is offered in rear or all-wheel drive variants. A former BMW M Division chief engineer by the name of Albert Biermann ensured it would be up to the task of spirited driving because he ordered it to be assaulted on the Nürburgring, where it logged over 6,000 miles. Inspiration for this model comes from vintage Grand Tourers like the Maserati Ghibli, which represent a class of car designed for long-distance, high-speed jaunts made in style and with great comfort. This car here, it's a Kia. This is the Stinger GT.
To say this is an important vehicle for the Kia brand is an understatement. I have a strong sensation that this is going to be the vehicle that defines Kia for its next generation. So I fear that this is going to be a vehicle beloved by automotive enthusiasts and journalists and bought by few. I hope I'm wrong. You can tell that Albert Biermann brought a lot of passion with him from his former job as a BMW M chief engineer. This car makes great noise. It kind of sets through corners. It is a sporty sedan slash hatchback in every sense of the word. It's not a compromise car. It's the opposite of that. This is a surprisingly good car. Well, not surprisingly good. I expected it to be good. I just wasn't sure how good it would be. Are people going to have trouble with the badging? Of course they are. People, that's just something, as much as Kia would like to say that's a thing of the past, it's not. Their cars aren't related to their cars of the past, but people still have the connotation in their head. People still make jokes about Jags and Land Rovers having electrical issues. People make all kinds of jokes about all kinds of vehicles because those stereotypes hang around. So what's the trim walk like on the Stinger? Well, the base car is just a Stinger. To get the V6, you jump to the car called the Stinger GT. On the low end, it's about $32,000 for that 4-cylinder, and then it will climb with all options on a GT2 with all-wheel drive. You're gonna be just over 50. It's a lot of money for a Kia, but this car is performing in a space for less money with the same level of performance, and in some cases, greater performance. Kia says 0 to 60 is 4.7 seconds. This car is pulling throughout the entire rev range. That 3.3 liter V6 has loads of torque. In fact, it has 376 pound-feet of the torque, 365 horsepower, and it's routing that through an 8-speed gearbox, and in this car, it's doing so through the rear wheels, which is awesome. It's a rear-wheel drive 4-door hatchback, and that's a pretty cool vehicle. It does compete with the likes of the S5 Sportback. It's not as quick to 60, but it's longer and it has a longer wheelbase. It has a wonderfully usable rear cargo space. It has pretty fantastic looks. This is a good-looking vehicle as well. Inside the cabin, that engine makes great noise, though I got to talk to the engineers because I worry that it's synthesized. I don't think it's going to sound as good on the outside. But here on Angeles Crest Highway, which is a great place to test a sporty car, this thing's moving nicely. They put a lot of hours and time and miles on the Nürburgring, 6,000 miles on the Nürburgring, so the brakes are supposed to not fade. There's no cooling issues. Albert Biermann knows all the fail points for a vehicle on a place like the Nürburgring, which is why there's extra cooling for the engine and trans. There's extra ducting for the brakes. All the stuff that you would need to make sure the car can handle the abuse that you might want to throw at it. Now, if you just pop the drive mode select system back into comfort or smart, it's just a casual GT cruiser that happens to look good. But at any given time, you can grab a gear and just start flying. This is an impressive machine. The suspension is a little bit softer than I'd like. I wish that the sport mode would take it a step further and maybe offer another, like a track setting. As it sits, it's pretty capable. You'll feel it start to dance a little bit. Now, if you're in one with the all-wheel drive system, that is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, and through dynamic torque vectoring, it can actually send 50% of the torque to the front axle. With the specific side-to-side torque vectoring, it'll do that through the braking system, which is how most people do it. So the all-wheel drive one seems like it should be just as fun, and we'll test that one in a little bit. But for now, Give me the rear-wheel drive one. Kia worked with Michelin, and this actually has Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on it, so it has serious tires. It's got Brembo 4-piston brakes. And that noise. That noise is legit in this cabin. It just kind of sits in the corner and goes. There's a mechanical diff back there that's available as an optional extra. And I mean, that's always a good thing, right? Get your rear end sorted, folks. You can drive this car very fast, very comfortably. And speaking of comfort, these seats are actually wonderful. The headrests have some great squish to them. Very technical term there. The 8-speed shifts nice and crisply. The interior cockpit layout is fantastic. The materials aren't too much. They're not, not enough. It's just a great blend of everything. Design and it has a head-up display, so there's good tech. Apple CarPlay. There's an available 720-watt Harman Kardon sound system with 15 speakers and 2 subs. And Kia's throwing a lot at this car for the price. So compared to the competition, I mean, you got a lot to choose from. You've got the BMW 440 and 640 Gran Coupe. You've got the Audi S5 Sportback. You've got, what else is there? The Infiniti Q50 you could throw in there. This is going to be less expensive than all of them. It's going to have as much, if not more, horsepower. It has more power and is faster than a base Panamera and costs far less than that car. So there's a lot, this is a wonderful value proposition. Just ignore the badge. Or embrace the badge. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. Embrace the badge.
All right, we're gonna try to autocross the Kia Stinger. I'm gonna wait till that competitive set vehicle gets out of the way, somewhere around that tower for the parking lot here in the Magic Mountain parking lot. So that was redundant, but it's a parking lot. 365 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 8-speed automatic gearbox. Waiting for the thumbs up from the gentleman to my left, and the Infiniti to get the shit out of my way. Traction control off for this run because I'm an idiot, and I was curious about it. So let's see how it goes. A little bit of understeer, but very correctable with the throttle. You can hear the front Michelin squealing a bit. Very catchable. Fun. I mean, the car is a lot of fun. It's unexpected that you would have this much fun from a Kia product like this, but it's rear-wheel drive. It's entertaining. It's not fully off. I can feel it catching a little bit. I wonder if that's something you need to do. Speed up with the camera. Squeal, baby, squeal. So it's a fun little autocross course. It's not timed. You're just here to feel the dynamics of the car and see how it does against the competitors. And it's doing great. I really, really, really like it. I'm very impressed with this car so far. Drive mode sport. Traction is fully off now, so I could really fuck things up. I mean, by that I mean I'd hit a cone, so it's not the end of the world. But we're gonna try launch mode.
waiting for my launch mode. Wasn't neck breaking or anything, but it was fun. It's cool that they put that in. So let's see the Stinger with everything off. It's probably going to be, oh yeah, it's definitely going to dance a little bit more. So this is fun. You could do this with your friends in the car, make everybody sick. They're still Michelin pilots, so there's plenty of grip there. Definitely rougher sections. You can feel the suspension trying to sort it out. It's pretty fun. It's very, very controllable. I'm not pressing it too hard. It's just, I mean, it's a lot of fun. That was traction all the way off. That's how you enter launch mode for those of you who end up buying these, and I hope there are some of you out there watching who do that. So there is fun to be had here. Lots of fun. Lots of torque, good horsepower. It's fun. That's a really poor word for an auto journalist. That guy just hit a cone. Very smooth of you. So yeah, it's fun. All right, so now we're in a different Stinger GT. This one is an all-wheel drive car, so I'm really curious how rear-wheel bias it is. I've turned traction control all the way off again. It's in sport mode, so we're gonna see the difference. Clearly, the rear-wheel drive one will let you play and have a lot of fun. This is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, but it's still an all-wheel drive system, so when it's sensing slip, it should throw some of that forward. There's a chance that could make it a really easy, fun drifter. If you don't go in too hard, but smooth on the power, you could get the action you want. Oop, he's doing launch control. Yeah, buddy. Oh shit, never mind, he's just roasting. Good for that person in the 640, good for them. So we're gonna try launch control again. I wonder if it'll be more aggressive here. They didn't quote different 0 to 60 times or anything like that. So we'll just see what happens. I wonder if the launch control mode stops you from brake torquing the rear wheel drive car, because that would be a shame. That would be I bet if you let off for a second and kind of like ease into it, maybe it'll work. Somebody's calling you. Decline that shit. Launch control. I am not going to stop because that's a dumb idea. Some of the understeer here with throttle, but not as much as you can in the rear wheel drive car, obviously. That section is so bumpy, but it's still kicking out a little bit. Yeah, see a lot of understeer on that one. It's fun to make these tires squeal in pain though. Very wide there, but caught it. I mean, you can get a little bit of tail out fun, just not as much. But it's cool that for you winter weather people who will buy the all-wheel drive versions, you can still have fun too.